Hello there, welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to look at some import figures that I picked up recently off of Cool Toys Club. I believe these are called Dynasty Tale 3 Kingdom figures. Okay, so here are the Dynasty Tales of the Three Kingdom figures. That's what I'm calling these. That's kind of the description name on the website where I bought these. I believe I got them from Cool Toys Club, and it was, I think, $23 for this one and $40 for the three of these. They sell these, I believe, is in a pack of three. There's also another set. I think they're in yellow. I didn't really care for the yellow. I chose the blue. There's also another guy. I think he's in gold, but I chose the silver figure. This guy did have a name, and I can't remember it now. I think it's like Lu Wang or Lu Wing. I'll put that here now so you can read that. But yeah, not much to these packaging. They are nice little collector-friendly boxes. There is an image of the figure on the back. So you can see here, I've got the swordman, the spearman, and the archer or bowman. And essentially, I believe, really, these three are the same character, just with different accessories. This is the only guy that's really different. It does look like his armor is removable. It looks like there's a stand to place his weapons. Some extra hands. These guys really just come with their weapons. So not much to see here. I'm hoping that these will complement my Joy Toy Chang Hu figures that I like so much. These are less, are they? Yeah, they're a little bit cheaper than those Joy Toy figures. So hopefully they're pretty good. If they are, maybe I'll go and get the other one that's like this, the gold one. And you could always army build these by buying another pack or buying those yellow ones. But I just didn't really care for the yellow color of those guys, even though they were exactly the same sword, spear, arrow, but in yellow. All right, so that's the packaging. That's what I'm calling them. Not really much to look at. You can see there, Dynasty Tale. So, all right, that's the packaging. Let's get them open. Okay, so we're going to start with the sort of the army builder right out of package. But before we talk about them, I want to point out that these were packaged, really, really nice. So there was a box in a box with an insert that you pull out like this. All three of these came this way, and this is the fourth guy here. And then it sort of slides open. Oops, I got it upside down. Sort of slides open, and it reveals a tray with the figure and everything individually wrapped inside. So the packaging's pretty nice. I was not going to keep this packaging. I still don't think that I am. It's possible that I might, but I just wanted to show you guys. They are packaged quite nice. And I bring that up. I wanted to point that out because, and I think I mentioned this in the beginning. These three guys here come as a set. I think you can buy them individually, but as a set, it was $40 for three figures. So averages, what is that, about 13 bucks, $13.30 or something like that, a figure, which is pretty decent for a 118 figure nowadays. I think even the Epic Heroes are, I think they're about $12.99 or $13.99. A Star Wars Vintage Collection is about $17 now. So these aren't quite Star Wars Vintage Collection quality, but they're still really good modern articulation. And they feel pretty, I don't want to say, they're not of a Joy Toy quality, but they're pretty good. They don't feel so cheap and flimsy like I kind of thought they might. All three figures do come with the stand. It is the same stand. It is just this sort of brown wood type color with one peg hole. But each figure did come with a stand. And they are exactly the same. Same face, same articulation, same figure. Only thing that separates them are the accessories. You can see this one came with the spear and an axe. This one came with a shield and a sword. This one came with a bow, a quiver, and 2 arrows that are removable, and they all have a removable helmet that just pops right off. Again, same head, same body, everything underneath. This is a sort of a softer plastic rubber overlay, does not get in the way. They do have all modern articulation, so we've got a ball jointed neck, ball hinge shoulders, bicep swivel, ball hinge elbow, hinged, ball joint hinged wrist. He's got the, what is it, a ball joint at the waist that does spin. He also has ball hinged hips, thigh swivel, double hinge knee, and a rocker pivot ankle. So these guys are pretty good for what they are. Now, there's no reason that these guys, you couldn't arm these guys up with laser guns and use them in your science fiction world. There's no reason that these guys couldn't be used in your fantasy stuff, which is really what they're kind of, the genre they're kind of going for. But I can also see these guys being used to fight Storm Shadow or Snake Eyes or your Turtles. Maybe they're part of the, not the Foot Clan, but maybe they're in the DC League of Assassins or something like that. So these guys have multiple uses and they are highly articulated. It's too bad that they do all have the same face, but that's not that big of a deal, you know, to me. They still look really good. There is a lot of detail in their armor, sculpting in their armor, and even in that helmet. You can see that there's some sculpting in there. I'm not familiar with this type of shield. It's probably, you know, I'm guessing like a Chinese medieval type shield. But they're pretty good. They're pretty fun for what they are. There's the arrows. They do both come out. You can't really hold the arrow. I've never been a big bow and arrow type guy. Usually what I'm probably going to do is get rid of this bow and arrow and give him the axe. So he has a spear, he'll have the axe, and he'll have the shield and sword. I'll probably get rid of this. This quiver is removable. I did have to pull it right over his head, arm. It is a hollow, so you can put stuff in it. The arrows. No. Nothing major here. Nothing groundbreaking. But they're good little solid figures, and like I said, at $13, it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good, even if it's just custom fodder. All right, so that's the army builder, guys. Let's get the main guy, the named character. Let's get him open now. Okay, so now I've got this guy out of packaging, and for the life of me, I just had the bag. There was a Ziploc bag that came with this guy and some other bags too that weren't Ziploc, and I dropped it and I cannot find it in one of those feet. He had a foot in there, so you can take these armored feet off and put on non-armored shoes, and I cannot find the bag. My room is tossed right now because I'm trying to do so many different videos. So that is my fault. I can't find it right now. But this guy came with a lot of stuff, especially compared to the foot soldiers behind him. He also came with the same stand that they did. So I'm gonna put that off to the side. He came with this really cool diorama piece, which you do have to assemble. It's just 2 pieces that you click together. It is a stand. It's a little finicky. You have to kind of get it just right to click in. Took me a few minutes last time. But once it's in, it's in. If I can get it back in there. Well, let's put it off to the side. You saw it. It does work. It does go together. It's probably best just to glue it once you have it in there. But that is a nice little diorama piece. It does come with this sword and scabbard. It's a nice looking sword. It does have some detail to it. This guy feels, you know, he's 23 and change, so he is a bit more expensive. Came with this spear. Spear you do have to assemble. It does come apart here in the middle. Does not want to come back apart, but it was 2 pieces that I did connect. It's fairly long, and it is different than the foot soldier one. Pretty nice. It's got a pommel on it. He came with 2 extra pairs of hands. He's got a set of fists, and he's got a set of chopping or hand shaking type hands. He came with the gripping hands already on. He came with 2 replacement joints. Whenever, I remember older Joy Toy used to come with these, and I'd always be like, they know that they're probably going to break, and that's why they give these extra ones. But it's nice that they did. So this helmet is removable. And he does have a articulated ponytail that it did keep coming out whenever I was try to move the head. It does come out quite easily, but you can't really glue that one in because then you would not be able to put the helmet on. But he does have a different face, definitely different face than those 3. But that ponytail does not want to stay in very well. Easily comes out quite easily. I'll probably use him with the helmet only though. These shoulder pads do come off. They're a bit finicky. His articulation is exactly the same as those guys, but he's a little bit limited. He's better in the waist because he doesn't have the overlay, but these shoulder pads tend to want to pop off when you start really moving him around. And he can't get quite as much of a split because of this lower skirt, this lower armor piece. So he does come with this lower half that you can put on. So you could take off this lower half here. And I did attempt to do that, but it felt like, you could see I was starting to kind of split him there. Felt like I couldn't really, oh, there it goes. It came out that time. So I had tried earlier. You can see I thought I was breaking him because that piece came off there and I was afraid to break him, so I wasn't going to do it. There it goes, and it's back together now. I guess that is supposed to be able to come off, and you should be able to do this. Take that out. Yeah, see, and I feel like I know it's meant to, you know, that's why you've got these parts, but it just feels a little bit more fragile than I want to do. You know, I don't want to break him right out of the box. But this guy's got a lot more stuff, you know. This guy can do a lot more things. But I believe this is what, you know, you're supposed to be able to get that out. And so he's kind of a half armored figure. His arms come off. His head comes off. And you could be able to slip this armor off. It's just not the easiest to do. And it's a nice option. It's a nice touch because this is an overlay, but I feel like I'm gonna break them, you know, to be quite honest. And here's those extra shoulders there. So in theory, it's a good idea, but I am not willing to risk breaking the figure in order to do that, especially when I prefer this armored look. I don't think I'll ever have him or use him outside of being armored. His foot fell off here and it's just a peg. I don't think I'll use him in any other way except for fully armored up. Maybe unhelmeted with that ponytail, but definitely not without the rest of the armor. See if I can get his head. There he goes. So a lot of parts, and if you're a braver soul than I am, then give it a try. Don't think it's worth it to me to do that. I like him just how he is, but those are nice pieces. And if you're a customizer, maybe these parts alone, make it more worth, you getting him. But he looks really good with the helmet or without. He doesn't have a place to carry the sword on his person, except for in his hand. And the spear as well. Nothing to click this onto, no peg or anything. Nothing for that. But he still looks pretty good. I think he's a pretty good figure for $23. I think he's pretty nice. And you can see now, him with these 3 guys behind him. That's a pretty cool squad. Just for comparison here, I do have some of the latest Joy Toy Jang Hu figures that I've got. I've done videos on both of these guys, so please, I'll leave links so you can check out the videos. And you can see they're very comparable. Joy Toy, great paint, and the sculpt is better. I'm not going to try to hype this figure up at the expense of Joy Toy, because Joy Toy is better. But this is very comparable, very comparable. The paint, the wash on this obviously is not on this. Sculpt on this is really good. The articulation's really good, and I do like that face. Face is done really well. And the intent was there with all these extra parts, and armored and unarmored. Even the shoes. Changing out the armored shoes, because I believe this is also an overlay of the shin armor, but it's on there really tight. When I took his shoe off, it did not felt like I was going to pull the joint, break that piece. Trying to get that shoe off. And of course this ponytail does just want to keep coming out. But it looks really good with that ponytail. But I don't want to limit him not being able to put this on by gluing that ponytail in there. But overall, I think this is a really good figure. Very comparable to these Joy Toy. I think it complements them really well. I could see this guy against some Boss Fight Studio fantasy figures. I also brought this out because I wanted to see if this guy could sit on the Warhorse, and I think he can. This is just pliable enough. This metal armor skirt, I think he can. Again, this shoulder armor keeps popping off. That would be something I might be tempted to glue on. Doesn't really hinder his articulation at all, how they did it, but it does want to keep falling off. And yeah, I think he fits just fine. He can ride the Warhorse just like a Jang Hu figure. And their price is comparable, the articulation's comparable. You think the paint, the paint is a huge difference. And it's noticeable on this guy to these guys. These are just, foot soldiers. There's not a lot of paint shading or anything necessary to them. But this guy, I think, is comparable. Oh, now he fell apart. See, there is some fragility to him. Maybe I didn't put him back all the way how I had him. Yeah, I don't think I did, especially at the waist. But you can see, they're not as durable as Joy Toy. At least this guy isn't. because like any figure that's meant to come apart that easily or that customizable, you know, a grown-up like me, someone fidgeting really hard with it, pieces are gonna come off like this. I'd be tempted to glue this shoulder armor on though, but not the ponytail. And I don't think I would actually ever do the unarmored version of this guy, the civilian version. But I think he does fit the horse and he looks good on it, and it's not a perfect fit because, you know, this plastic. But that's the same with these guys. But this one is even softer. The Joy Toy is even softer, but they also designed him, you know, to go on this horse. This horse is there in the same line. I'm cheating a little bit by trying to put a different line on this horse. You can't quite get his feet in the stirrups, but still, if he's standing beside it, if you've got him in some kind of just a static battle pose, I think it works. I think these guys complement the Joy Toy stuff really good. So I think this is a winner, guys. I think, you know, for what it is, you know, these guys are about 13 a pop. For these guys about 23 a pop. I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. I may try to get the other one. Be nice to get 3 more of these guys. You have 6 with this guy, that'd be 7. That's a pretty good little squad. This guy's good. He's fun. And that's the biggest, you know, thing. Are they fun? You know, do you want to pose them? Do you want to play with them? And my answer to that is yes. This guy's pretty cool. And these are great, you know, background characters. Their articulation is really good, and because they don't have all the armor and all those extra pieces, they're not as fidgety as this guy. So you might actually enjoy these guys a little bit more because of how basic they are. And sometimes, you know, basic is good. Basic is good. So, yeah, good. I think good pickups. These guys are pretty good. I've only seen them, I think, on Cool Toys website. I can't remember if you can buy these guys individually or you have to buy 3 at once. But again, there's a yellow version too, or like a yellowish maroon version of the same 3 guys, but in a different color. That you could also supplement, you know, this with. Maybe you got 3 of them and 3 of them. There's your 7 with the leader. I think I'd stick to the blue. I didn't really care for the yellow. But I think this is pretty cool. I think what I'll do, we'll just kind of stand him here next to the horse. You can't ride it that well. I think you could get away with it for some photos. But for the most part, I think it looks pretty good. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm going to skip the size comparison because he is just a 118 375. You can see here he's exact same size as a Joy Toy figure. So he's a true 118. And again, I think he's comparable, not of the quality of Joy Toy, but fun, but cool. I'd like to see more from this company. Whoever they are. So that's the video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. You know, is this a buy? This is a pass? Let me know. I'll see you in the next video, okay? Bye.